Hey, Jay here. So in my attempt to make this practice as accessible as possible, you may have noticed I'm transitioning away from group classes. There's been some new laws stateside that benefit some and don't benefit others. With regards to accessibility, in my mind, we're taking practices that have long histories, either in a culture that is not our own or a religion even that is not our own. And I'm to a point as I get older that it's just not really feasible and accessible, and it doesn't really sit well with me anymore. And I'm really over capitalism. I mean, these came from Kohl's. These pants, 8 years old. I did buy myself a Cadillac because I have an injury. I had an injury delivering my daughter. You'll see me utilize this a lot. It is a lifelong purchase as far as my injury is related. It allows me to continue walking, and as far as my autoimmune disease is concerned, it allows me to explore my movement potential in different planes. Now, with all that being said, I'm at my home. Not everybody has access to this, but they do have access to the things you see sitting next to me. I'm going to go through them. This is a couch cushion. Not everybody has access to foam rollers, bolsters, or the newest contraption, but I'm pretty sure everyone has a couch cushion. You could even do this if your couch cushion is still wrapped in plastic, like the kind I grew up with. So that's piece number one. Piece number two, if you grew up in my generation, you still read from books. So grab yourself a book, because not everybody has access to yoga blocks. If you need to build it higher, you can get 2 books. You can stack them this way. You can stack them this way. You could take them long ways. They're pretty multifunctional. And if you just don't feel like moving today, flip the pages. It's still movement. So piece number 2. I said in my last post, soup cans, because it's winter and we like soup. I don't really know the weight of these as far as, it says 1 pound and 2.6 ounces if you want to get technical. They're both chicken noodle. I'm glad I have 2, otherwise it was going to be olives and soup or glass spaghetti bottles. I don't know, these work. So 2 soup cans. And I have towels. These are beach towels. I don't get to visit the beach as much as I would, but towels, blankets, rolled up sheets, anything that you can fold up, and the fold doesn't have to be perfect either. So I posted a video of me doing these same similar set of exercises over at Figure 8 on her equipment, because I teach privates over there. The benefit of taking a Pilates private is to build stair steps to be able to move in a class if you'd like to join a class, to be able to honor your body, because it's certainly enough just the way it is. But also the privilege I get of working with our older population is seeing how amazing it's going to be when I get that age. And that I'm still fluid, that I'm still mobile, that I am not as crippled as my disease is going to physically manifest itself over the years. And giving that sense of power and empowerment to my clients and to myself has been the most rewarding thing out of my practice in general, whether that's in mental health facilities, homeless population, juvenile detention, and our incarcerated population, or just people in general. I do find value out of them, and the reason you're paying for private is because I have to look at the body that presents itself. I have to help you understand the building blocks and the amount of years it took. I also had to have lots of training to incorporate that all together so that it's a rewarding experience for you and that you also understand the longevity of this practice. It's not a fly by the seat of your pants. It's not womb, I got guns. It's, you know, I twisted my ankle and I still want to move because my mind says I should be moving. And how do I find safe movements to appease the side of me that wants to move and also not injure myself again? And how do I build this day to day? And you know, in the grand scheme of things, my privates are not as expensive as mainstream privates. One, because it's my home. Two, because my husband, prior to him passing away, we ran an IT company. I'm not doing it for the money, I'm doing it for access. So if you've ever wondered why I am still charging for privates, I have to rent the space if it's not my house. And there's still a good amount of education that went into what I'm providing and what I'm bringing to the industry, to our population, to my friends and family. And so, yeah, I hope that fills in some of the blanks as far as why I'm transitioning to privates on equipment. And then also, as I pop up more videos that have to do with movement, using pieces that are around us. And please don't misconstrue it as, hey, I popped up a camera and look at me, sort of thing. These are real world tools that we have in and around us that make it accessible no matter what you're doing. So, enough of me talking. Let's get into what we're going to do with these two soup cans, this book, and these blankets. I am on my Cadillac because it's raised up higher than the ground. It makes it eye level with the tripod in my house. So, these two blankets are if you don't have a lot of mobility in your spine. This is a big drop to go back to. So for me, in my Pilates practice, this, to be able to hold this shape and then to lower, that's a lot of hip mobility around my femur that has to be there. Not everybody has that. So you could get as many blankets as it's needed to buffer or to raise this up to bring it to you. The other thing you may find is not every day do you want to work all of this. And you see me pushing into this, that works too. So putting the blankets to build this shape to my back, taking the book to place between the feet, and you'll see me move the soup cans. So working in parallel means that your legs are hip width distance apart. The block, or book in this case, gives me something to ground into. And I'm going to bring this up against my low back and rest on it. So if you needed something to go underneath neck space, you could roll up another blanket there. I think if we build our practice from a place of comfort, from a place of space in the actual body that presents itself, and then know that anywhere in that spectrum of I'm going to lean back, I'm going to sit up today, I'm going to use 50% of my range of motion, those are all acceptable ranges of motion. So resting back, I'm going to take a deep breath in. and a deep breath out. Take another deep breath in. Let your shoulders soften. Let the back of the rib cage soften. Let the back of the kidney soften. Let the low back feel supported by the bolster and the incline of the blankets. Start to notice the left and the right hip. Can you feel equally supported by the surface in which you are laying on? Can you start to visualize or feel your legs in space? And continue breathing, of course. Your breath could be shallow, your breath could be deep, your breath could be fast and furious or slow and steady and sweet. Whatever breath you present with, that's part of the practice too. Some days it may lengthen, some days it may become fuller, some days it may stay just in the chest. As an instructor, we're observing that and getting you to breathe into that. So you may never move from this shape, and your whole session may have just been me breathing with you, because I felt that that was necessary for you to sink into your body before moving your body. Take another deep breath in and a deep breath out. Step into your left foot, step into your right foot. By stepping in, acknowledge heel, pinky toe, big toe, ball of foot, the lifting of the arches. Take another breath in and a deeper breath out. Your breath facilitates movement in all of those areas. So your breath in, reach both arms up, and notice what happens in your body, whether that means rib cage pops off of supports. And you can use your breath to hang glide them back onto the support. And then breath out, bring the arms back down. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Notice what moves, what doesn't. If you'd like certain things to move, if you'd like certain things to stay still. Certainly there is this element of hips need to be stationary, shoulders need to stay in their pockets. Rib cage, like the lowest rib cage, needs to connect to core. But maybe that's not your jam today. Maybe having a pillow and towels and soup cans just means you'd like to explore the aspect of inquiry. Take another deep breath in and another deep breath out. And as you soften or turn to putty, like my arms just finally released, you then spend a few rounds of breath in that shape, noticing what that feels like in the body. Can you still maintain connection through legs? Can you step into the feet? Can you notice how that translates into hips? Take a breath in and a breath out. Now, if this feels all right, you might take your navel and gently draw that towards the low back. That in turn is going to create some space where you cannot literally pinch in the low back because you're drawing your internal organs to soften, to create space for them back there. Take another deep breath in. So if you've been feeling into your feet, start to acknowledge feeling into the inseam or the inside of each ankle into the book. Take a breath in again and a breath out. If it feels all right, breath in, sweep arms up, and then breath out, bring them around. And your range may look very different. Your range might look like this. Your range could look bigger than what I just did. It depends on your shoulder socket. The point of slowing down and breathing is to notice what your range is in that very moment. Not that day, not that afternoon, not that morning, that very moment. Take another deep breath in and a deep breath out. Breathe in, reach the arms up. Breathe out, bring them around, back to their resting position. You're more than welcome to explore a few of those. Take a breath in, reach them up. Breath out, start their descent and wrapping around. Take a breath in, reach them up. Let your rib cage open as you breathe in, and breath out. Notice how everything draws towards center or midline as you breathe out. Bring them back up. And then breath out, palms down, bring them down. Your breath in is going to bring them out and around and back up. Your breath out, lower them. Keeping everything resting. And then spiral them out. Breath in, bring them up and around. Breath out, bring them down. Fan the arms open. Let your external rotation start from the shoulder socket. And then reach your arms up. Breath out. Breath in. And then breath out. And you're more than welcome to explore just taking that movement. Now, to build on that shape, my arms are going to come up on a breath in, step into the feet, and then breath out. I'm going to tuck chin towards chest, start to peel away from the things that are behind me. And then breath in, gently rest myself back. And you're going to let your arms be this extension of the torso. So breath out, curl chin towards chest, gaze, and then breath in, lower everything back down. Breath in, breath out, curl. And then breath in, there. And maybe your shape is just here. Maybe you're shaking at this point like I am. And I'm having to recruit through feet, recruit through glutes. And then resting. So in terms of inquiry, you have all of these places along the spectrum to explore. There is no one finite exercise that resolves every problem. And you call the shots. So again, exploring what that looks like. So my legs have been integrated through holding the book in place. I am going to breath in and then breath out. Start to sit up. Look for length through that. And then take a few more where I lay back on that. And if you've noticed, my thing has slid. If you have one of those sticky mats from your kitchen drawer that holds your silverware tray in place, let me see if I have one. Looks like this. You could lay that underneath and that won't move. So as I reset myself up, I also need to be conscious of things that have moved, whether that's my body or the props that I was resting on. So again, you're going to use the first few rounds of breath to sink in again, to reconnect. Take a breath in and a breath out. Breath in. Step strongly through the feet, and then breath out, curl forward. I'm going to grab my soup cans, palms up. Breath in, reach arms up. Again, make sure you have them holding securely. Breath in to prepare, and then breath out, curl up. What would happen if you reach these forward? If you held your arms in space and brought them to your shoulders. Still keeping everything else integrated. Still breathing. Still keeping your breath. And then rolled back. Flipped your palms, nestled back into your support. Breath in, breath out, curled. Reached through tailbone, stepped through feet, crown of head. Brought your arms back. And reached them forward simultaneously. Breath in. Reach them back, and a breath out, row them simultaneously. Breath in, reach them back. And brought them back. Maybe you wanted to see what it felt like to bring arms out and around and row up. There are pretty much endless possibilities with regards to the soup cans. I like to add them just to see what happens. When I add additional stuff. Sometimes even declining the movements is a great option, and respecting where you are in your body today or working in isolation. So here I am resting. I'm still working shoulder socket. Still getting some bicep and tricep. So bring palms towards you. Breath in and breath out. Hug a tree. Breath in, breath out, breath in, and breath out. So again, working with your desired breath, your range of motion, and your movement potential. You could in fact, even use your arms to sit up. You could, in fact, use the things that are in your house to have a movement practice and movement potential. Again, give your shoulders some attention. Take a breath in and a breath out. Look left. Look right. So, yeah. Occasionally I'll pop on here with my soup cans, some of my books, my beach towels, which serve many purposes in my house. And for those of us that don't watch TV, couch cushions. Have a great day. Let me know how some of the things worked for you in your body.